In this video, we're going to cover how to set up your presentation in Photoshop to use in the digital crit space room 115. If we go and look at the requirements that we need, so it's a 75-inch screen that we use downstairs. It is 3,840 by 2,160 pixels. Aspect ratio. Okay, so this is the size of image that we need to create. So how do we go about creating this in Photoshop? Just remember, it doesn't matter what software you use, just apply these same principles to set up your design. Okay, so we're going to go to File, New, leave everything as is, and you can just leave a transparent background. That's totally up to you. Okay, here you're going to change that, just like I've done here. You fill in these values and you're going to press OK. Okay. Now that I've got my presentation set up, now I can start inserting the information that I need to produce my presentation. Just remember, if you're using Illustrator, it doesn't matter, but you'll need to export that as a PDF or image, then do the same process. So I did this presentation in, here I'm going to say media box. Okay, this presentation I did in Inkscape, for example. Okay, so here's my presentation in Inkscape, and you can see it almost fits in perfectly. Okay, just remember this works slightly different to GIMP in the sense that you need to drag these corners to maybe make it fit. Just remember, you need to scale it proportionately. Okay, so just remember that you need to scale these proportionately. So you need to maintain this height, this ratio. Okay, and you can see it's locked. Okay, so by doing so, I've locked it, and I want this to fill my page. Okay. Okay, so we can make this fit. So let's just go to image size, just so that we know. Okay, that's good for now. So now this is part of my presentation. If you go to image size, for example, or canvas size, you'll notice that this is correct. You can change this to pixels and you'll get the correct values. Okay, all right, so there I did this presentation in Inkscape. As I said, if you zoom in, you can see it's just quite a good quality. Just remember, if this is how it will look on your screen downstairs. Okay, so now that this is in, I can drag in some more images to kind of make this. So I can drag in some more images and just drag these in, pull these to the side. I can scale these up, so let me just grab a couple more. Okay, so I'm just on the command here, so let's just get these to the right size. Just remember, lock this ratio so you don't lose this. Okay, so here you're going to go and put these images in your, okay, grab this one, pull this one in. You can lock it and try and get it to the same width as that one. Just remember, you can also rescale these later on so that you can get them to the correct pixels, for example. Okay, enter. Okay, so now we can see it's quite easy to build up a quick presentation. Okay, this is just a typical workflow. So I can lock it on there, Alt Shift down, scale it, kind of get it correct scale, just click in the middle. Just remember, you can also use the, good. I'm just going to leave those three just like that. Okay, so now I've got a presentation that will work to those strict formatting. Just remember, this image that I've used here is a A1 sheet that I've used, so you can see this is coming quite neat. Okay, so once you're done with this, we'll then jump to the next stage and where we save this out and start using this information in Photoshop or PowerPoint, etc. Okay, close this. Okay. Okay, in this presentation, we're going to set up a presentation that you can use in the digital crit space. Okay, so this is ideally if you want to use the screens in the crit lab to their full potential. Okay, so the first thing we need to consider, if we go back to our document, can we go back to our slides? So if we go to our first slide, what do we have to consider? We need to consider the resolution and in centimeters and the correct DPI. Okay, so this is absolutely critical. You can use denser images, but remember you're not going to have the luxury sometimes to zoom into those images. So setting up your final presentation to use in those digital crit room is essential. Okay, so here we can see we've got centimeters. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward and easy. In GIMP, for example, you're going to go and start a new project. There is 4K already. Okay, so if you go to 4K, here you just need to make sure that you set the DPI correctly to 96. So this is the first option. You can also use centimeters if you would like, but if I set it up just like this and I press OK, and I go to image, and I go to image size, canvas size, here if I change this to centimeters, that should be correct. Okay, Photoshop, you're doing the same thing. So here you can see it's 101 centimeters by 57 centimeters, okay? And you could have started with a transparent background. That's totally up to you. Just remember, you can go and add an alpha channel and then simply delete the background if you need to, okay? But in essence, this document is now ready to set up my presentation. Okay, so I've got some examples of images that I've used, so I'm just going to grab some of those just to kind of give you an overview of, so if I go to the digital crit and I grab some images and I drag these in just to start setting up my presentation. So I'm going to pull in some of these images very quickly, and let's just go and grab one of those, one more of those, and I'm going to go and simply go and grab another image. I just want to copy another image here as well. Okay, that's good. And I'm just going to grab one more of my desktop. Just to kind of give you an idea, I set up this presentation on an A1 sheet. So you can drag and drop PDFs in here. So you can print plans from Revit and that to the correct scale. And all that you're going to do is simply drag these in. So I'm going to grab this cabin. Let's just copy that for the time being. So just drag it into the document. Okay. It's going to ask you to scale it. You can make it 1 to 50 or 300. Okay. So here you're just going to say resolution. You can make it 96 to match, but in this case, it doesn't matter because it's going to try and resize it. I'm going to make it 300 for now. You can make it 150. That's totally up to you. Okay, but now you can see that image is too large. I just need to scale it to fit on my sheet correctly. Okay. Here you're going to go to view and you're going to go snap to canvas edge. So I just want to show you how this would work. So I'm going to snap that to my canvas edge. Okay, snap this to my canvas edge. There we go. Okay, and scale. Okay, so it's going to scale this to the correct scale now. But if we zoom in, you can see the resolution is still pretty good. Okay, and it will look just like this on your screen. So this is how you're going to see this presentation on the screen. It will pixelate. Just remember, if you do keep zooming in, you will zoom into the pixels. Okay, so just remember that. Okay, but you can see if you had a look at the screen, it'll look quite clear. Okay, all right, so I can scale that down a bit more. Okay, good. Actually, I might scale this to match the edge of the sheet. So let's just scale that up to there. And scale this to there. And I'm going to use some images on the side. Okay, good. Scale. And then I can simply move this image and snap it to the edge. Okay. All right, so that's good. So here I've got an image setup. I'm going to drag this down to the bottom. So here I've got some reference images that I might want to use on the side here, for example. So let's just move those. I'll scale those in a minute. So let's just get these in a good location. So scale that image. I don't scale this image here. So scale this image. Let's just snap it to the edge here. I can snap this. You can also go and set up snaps. Okay, you can snap stuff to paths, you name it. Okay, so I might have to create a grid there. So we'll see. But anyway, let's just put these images on the side here. I can change these to pixels. You can change them to centimeters. But let's just make them 750 maybe. Scale. Good. Use this. Select the other image. Scale that one. You know what the 750. Scale. Okay, so I can bring in more of those images. So I've got some other images I can use here, but I just want to go back to my desktop. I just want to go back to my presentation folder, digital grid space. I'm going to drag in more of these images. Just drag some of those in. Okay. Okay. So now those images we can now move and put them in a good location. Just remember 700, 750 maybe. That's good. Put it over there, scale it. Grab another one. Grab this one. 750. Scale. Move it. Put it down here. I'm just going to use those 4 images for now. Okay, just cancel this command. So Control Z. Just move it over here. And then just say scale. These other images I don't need. So delete this layer. Okay. Let's pull this back up here a bit. Right, so now I can now, what's interesting is you can select these objects and also, let's just snap them to the side of my image here. Okay. But you could have used Illustrator to kind of set these up. But I'm pretty happy with this result. And if I had to go and present this on my screen downstairs, it'll be pretty clear. Okay, and it's to the correct resolution. Okay, so all that you need to do now is to save this image